You might believe that struggling with sleep is just a normal part of aging. But let me ask you this. What if that wasn't entirely true? What if the real reason you're lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, isn't your age, but the quiet habits that sneak into your routine once the sun goes down? Tonight, I want to share something important, something every senior over 65 should hear. Because on this channel, Elderly Reflections, we honor elderly wisdom, we talk about life lessons from the elderly, and we believe that inspiration doesn't stop when you hit retirement. It grows stronger. So if motivation and senior health matter to you, hit like, subscribe, and in the comments, tell me where are you watching from tonight? Canada? Ireland? Right here in the US? I'd love to know. Now let's talk about what might be keeping you up. I want to start with a story, one that stuck with me for months. George, a retired school principal from Pennsylvania, age 76, had always thought of himself as a disciplined man. But ever since his wife passed, his nights had become longer. Sleep felt harder to find. He'd spend the evening in front of the television, and around 10:30, like clockwork, he'd head to the kitchen, grab a slice of leftover pizza, maybe a cookie, and a cold glass of cola. Nothing too heavy, he thought, just something to help him feel settled. But what George didn't realize, and what many seniors still don't, is that late-night eating, especially heavy or sugary food, can silently sabotage your body's ability to rest. It's one of the most overlooked mistakes older adults make. After 65, your digestion slows, your insulin sensitivity changes, and your hormones become more reactive. A simple snack that used to be harmless at 40 can now spike your blood sugar, disrupt melatonin, and increase cortisol, the stress hormone that keeps your mind buzzing at night. And that's not just theory. A study from the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine showed that meals high in sugar and refined carbs can reduce deep sleep and increase nighttime awakenings, especially in older adults. And when deep sleep drops, your memory, your heart rhythm, and even your motivation the next day begin to suffer. George didn't see it at first. He just knew. He felt more groggy each morning, less sharp, more forgetful. It was his daughter, a dietitian, who gently pointed it out. She asked him to remove all processed foods after 8 p.m. Not his whole diet, just that one piece. And the result? Within 3 weeks, George was falling asleep faster. He even said something that gave me goosebumps. He said, "I started dreaming again." That's the power of small choices. You don't need to overhaul your life. Just rethink how you nourish your body in the final hours before sleep. Because the truth is, your body may be older, but it's still listening. It still wants to heal, still wants peace. Now let's talk about the second habit. And this one is trickier because it feels innocent, even helpful. It's screen time, specifically watching television, checking your phone, or scrolling Facebook in bed. I get it. We all want a little comfort at night. But blue light from screens is one of the biggest silent thieves of sleep in seniors. It blocks melatonin production. And melatonin is the key hormone that tells your brain it's time to rest. And here's the kicker. Melatonin naturally decreases as we age. That means even a little extra blue light can have a big effect. Let me tell you about Margaret, an 80-year-old librarian from Wales. Every night she'd read the news on her tablet, thinking it helped her wind down, but she started to notice something odd. Her mind felt busier, her sleep lighter, and her anxiety crept in not during the day, but at night. After reading about sleep hygiene, she made a simple change. She moved all her screens out of the bedroom and went back to reading printed books after 9 p.m. Within days, her body responded. "It's like I remembered how to sleep," she told me. That's what I mean by elderly wisdom. It's not always about knowing more. Sometimes it's about going back to the basics, listening to your body, honoring what feels natural. And now Margaret says her evening routine feels sacred. No screen, just a warm cup of tea, a soft lamp, and a paperback in her hand. She says, "It's my time to rest, not just sleep." That mindset shift matters, because sleep isn't just a physical act, it's emotional. It's how we recover, how we heal, and how we stay sharp. So if you find yourself watching the news, replying to texts, or scrolling through memories late at night, ask yourself, is it helping you rest, or is it secretly keeping your brain alert? These two habits, eating heavy foods and using screens late, may sound small, but they quietly drain your energy. They rob you of deep, healing rest. But here's the good news. Just like George and Margaret, you can reverse these patterns. You can create an evening that restores your body, strengthens your brain, and reconnects you with peace. Because senior health isn't just about numbers on a chart. It's about how you feel, how you think, in how you rise in the morning. So here's what I want you to do. Tonight, instead of chips or cola, try a warm herbal tea and a piece of fruit. Instead of your phone, pick up a book or simply sit in silence for 5 minutes. You don't need a prescription, you just need presence. And now I'd love to hear from you. In the comments, tell me where you're watching from. Europe, North America, somewhere else? Your voice matters. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss a story of elderly motivation, senior inspiration, and real-life lessons that help us grow wiser, stronger, and more connected every day. This is Elderly Reflections, and we're just getting started. Stay tuned to the next chapter is just around the corner, and you won't want to miss what's coming up next. When the sun goes down, your body starts preparing for its most important job, healing. That's right, sleep isn't just about rest, it's about repair. For seniors, especially those over 65, every hour of sleep can make the difference between forgetfulness and clarity, fatigue and vitality, a restless night and a motivated morning. But the problem is, while your body is begging for restoration, your habits might be sending the opposite message. If you're watching this on Elderly Reflections, this is where we dive into life lessons from the elderly. Real stories, senior health, and the wisdom that comes from living a life full of experience. If that matters to you, subscribe now and tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? Your voice is part of this conversation. Now let's keep going. In the first section, we explore 2 common mistakes: eating late and using screens before bed. Tonight, let's dig into 2 more habits that quietly confuse the body and keep the mind from finding peace. And I want to start with a sound you probably haven't thought about in years: the ticking of a clock. Let me introduce you to Harold, a retired engineer from Oregon, age 79. For most of his life, Harold lived by schedules, military time, timetables. He liked order, but after retiring, things changed. With no office to report to, no train to catch, Harold's bedtime drifted. Some nights it was 9 o'clock, other nights 1:30 a.m. He thought it didn't matter. After all, he wasn't working anymore, but he started noticing something strange. His memory got fuzzier, his dreams vanished, his motivation faded. And most of all, he felt tired, even after 8 hours of sleep. That's when his doctor said something powerful. Harold, you don't need more sleep, you need more rhythm. That brings us to the third nighttime mistake: not having a consistent bedtime. It sounds simple, I know, but your brain is built on cycles, something scientists call the circadian rhythm. And the older we get, the more fragile that rhythm becomes. Missing your bedtime by even 1 or 2 hours can throw off hormone production, blood pressure regulation, and memory formation. And studies from the National Institutes of Health show that seniors with irregular bedtimes are twice as likely to experience cognitive decline. But there's good news. Just like Harold, you can train your body back into rhythm. It takes a little time, but it's worth it. Harold set an alarm not just to wake up, but to go to bed. Every night at 9:45, soft music played. He turned off all lights except a reading lamp, made a cup of herbal tea, and read a page from his favorite mystery novel. That's all. No news, no screens, no late-night snacks, just rhythm. And in 3 weeks, he said something I'll never forget. I feel like I'm syncing with myself again. That's the power of rhythm. Elderly reflections like Harold's remind us, you don't need more time, you need better timing. Now let's talk about the 4th habit. And I'll be honest, this one surprises people because it feels like self-care, but it's actually harming your sleep. I'm talking about taking long, hot showers right before bed. Now don't get me wrong, cleanliness matters, comfort matters, but timing is everything. See, when you take a hot shower, your body temperature rises. And here's the catch, your body needs to cool down in order to fall asleep. That drop in temperature signals your brain to produce melatonin and enter sleep mode. But if you step out of a hot shower and climb straight into bed, your core temp is still high. That delays melatonin, disrupts heart rate, and creates what researchers call thermorelatory conflict. Basically, your body wants to sleep, but your temperature says otherwise. That's why many seniors toss and turn after what they thought was a relaxing bath. Now I want to tell you about Sandra. She's 83, lives in rural Vermont, retired nurse. She told me she used to shower every night at 10 p.m., then go straight to bed. But she always felt alert, too warm, anxious. It wasn't until her granddaughter, a nursing student, suggested moving the shower to 8:30 that things changed. Just a 90-minute gap, enough time for her body to cool down naturally. Within a week, Sandra said her sleep deepened. She stopped waking up at 2 a.m. for no reason. She even dreamed again. That's elderly wisdom in action. Adjust the when, not just the what. Your body, especially after 65, needs space to transition. That transition from alert to restful, from warm to cool, from daylight to darkness, it matters more than you think. So tonight, remember this. A regular bedtime isn't a restriction, it's a rhythm. And moving your hot shower earlier isn't a sacrifice, it's a strategy. These aren't rules, they're reminders that your body, no matter how many years, it still wants harmony. We've now covered 4 powerful shifts you could make starting tonight. 2 in the first part, and 2 more right here in the next section. These changes will help you enhance your nightly routine, leading to better rest and a more energetic start to your day. But there's still one piece of the puzzle missing. 2 more habits that seniors often overlook. And they might be the reason you still feel foggy, no matter how many hours you sleep. That's something we'll explore in the next section. But before we go, I want to hear your story. Drop a comment below and tell me, where are you watching from? And if this resonated with you, if you see yourself in Harold or Sandra or Margaret, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, subscribe to Elderly Reflections, and turn on notifications so you never miss another dose. Senior motivation, inspiration, or elderly wisdom? We're building something here, a family of life learners, and you're part of it. Stay tuned for the final segment, where we'll connect all the dots. Because good sleep isn't about shutting down. There's something sacred about nighttime, especially in the later chapters of life. The noise quiets, the phone stops ringing, and for a few hours, the world lets go of its demands. But here's the truth. Just because the world slows down doesn't mean your body knows how to rest. In fact, for many seniors, those quiet hours feel anything but peaceful. Restlessness, overthinking, a heart that beats a little too fast, a mind that just won't turn off. You deserve better than that. In this concluding segment, we'll wrap everything up. Because sleep is more than just unconsciousness, it's restoration. And if you've watched the earlier installments, then you know we've already explored 4 silent habits that may be holding you back. But there are 2 more. And one of them, it's disguised as good advice. Advice that's outdated, misinformed, and causing thousands of older adults to suffer quietly each night. Let me tell you about Evelyn. She's 81, former pianist, lives in Manchester, England. Every morning, sharp as a tack. Every afternoon, productive and content. But every night, her thoughts would race. Her chest would tighten, sleep wouldn't come until well after midnight. When I asked her about her routine, she said something I've heard too many times. Well, I don't nap, I was told it's bad for sleep. And that right there brings us to habit number 5, avoiding naps out of fear. Now, let's clarify. Long naps, especially after 4 p.m., can interfere with nighttime sleep, but short, intentional naps in the early afternoon, for seniors, they are essential. A study from the National Sleep Foundation found that a 20 to 30-minute nap can improve mood, sharpen memory, and even support cardiovascular health in older adults. Why? Because aging bodies fatigue faster. And when your energy is spent by 6 p.m., your nervous system struggles to manage stress, regulate hormones, and settle into deep sleep. Evelyn's mistake wasn't napping. It was not napping. Once she started allowing herself 20 quiet minutes around 2 p.m., not a full sleep, just a reclined rest, her evenings transformed. She told me it was like giving my brain a second wind. And with that small change, her mind stopped racing at night. Her anxiety eased, her sleep deepened. That's elderly wisdom in motion. Listening to your body instead of old rules. So here's the takeaway. Don't fear naps, but time them well, keep them short, and think of them not as escape, but as recovery. Now we arrive at the final habit, habit 6, and this one is subtle, almost invisible, but it may be the most powerful of all. It's this: going to bed with unresolved emotions. You see, your body might be tired, but your heart remembers. And when you carry stress, grief, regret, or loneliness into bed, sleep becomes survival, not restoration. Let me explain with a story that still gives me chills. Charles, a former firefighter from Boston, 85 years old. He'd lost his wife 3 years earlier. A quiet grief, not loud, just always there. At night, he'd lie awake, not thinking about tasks, but about memories, things unsaid, moments missed. I asked him what his nighttime routine was. He said, "I just turn out the lights and try not to feel too much." That broke my heart, because Charles was doing what many seniors do, trying to power through pain with silence. But silence doesn't heal, expression does. So we made one change, just one. Before bed each night, Charles would take a pen and write down one sentence. What he was feeling. No journaling, no essays, just one line. I miss her tonight. I'm angry about what happened. I'm grateful for that memory. That's it. And over time, something shifted. The weight he carried into sleep grew lighter. He began dreaming again. And he told me something beautiful. I feel like my heart rests now, not just my body. That's why I say going to bed with unspoken emotions is the quiet enemy of sleep. And the cure isn't therapy or medication. Sometimes it's just being honest with yourself, giving your heart a voice, and letting it exhale before the night begins. So let's recap the 6 habits we've explored. Heavy late-night eating, blue light exposure, inconsistent bedtimes, hot showers too close to lights out, skipping naps out of fear, and going to bed emotionally burdened. 6 small choices that, if reversed, can bring seniors deeper sleep, clearer minds, and stronger mornings. This isn't about perfection, it's about awareness. It's about honoring elderly wisdom, the wisdom that knows healing takes time, but it begins with intention. Before we end, let me say this. Your sleep is not just about age, it's about alignment, about listening inward, and your body, even at 70, 80, 90, still wants to heal, still wants to dream, still wants peace. So tonight, take one step, just one. Maybe that's moving your shower earlier. Maybe that's writing one line before sleep. Maybe that's allowing a short nap tomorrow. Start small, but start with care. And now I want to ask you, truly ask you, where are you watching from? I read every comment and your story, your city, your experience. It matters. Like this video if it spoke to you. Subscribe to Elderly Reflections if you believe in honoring senior health, in motivation after 65, and in the inspiration that only a life fully lived can offer. This channel isn't just about tips, it's about belonging, about remembering that wisdom still grows, and that even in the quiet of night, your body and your spirit are still writing new chapters. So here's to your dreams, to your rhythm, to your healing, and to the small, brave steps that bring you back to deep, peaceful sleep.